it's Christine, and I'm coming to you live from the Little Craft Room Hive here in Wisconsin, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, that is. We have a share a recipe, create a card, inspire others, and I'm happy to report that we're doing it today. And I think it was always on my calendar for today, but I don't think that it was on a Facebook event, and I don't think it was on my website, and so we pulled it all together, and I'm very excited because I have a card from Kelly Sheridan, and this is a card. I'm so excited, Kelly. I don't know when you'll catch this, but Kelly is from Santa Rosa, California, and I think she's had this for a little while. And it's really funny because the last time I mentioned about there were a few recipe cards that were out and about that were still floating that I handed out to people or mailed out to people, and hers was in my mail the next day. So it's pretty good that that came in. So we've been very blessed that we had Connie Moore, who's been spotting me for probably about a year and a half with recipe cards to keep this class going. And so Connie's got one on the works or in the works, and she's going to send that to me. So we'll have one for September as well. So cool. So we have a few of you here with me. Hi, Connie Moore. With the later start, you'll have to catch the replay. On the golf course, well, I'm very happy you'll be out getting some beautiful sunshine and some good weather. That is awesome. It's beautiful here today. And there's Debbie Gast, and Susan Bellamy's here. Hi, Nancy Mole. And Katrina is here. Hello, hello. And then Margie Neskelson. Yay. And then Jean Turbolager and Sue Deppis. So, yeah, so I was going to have this at 2, and the days just get so discombobulated, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's how it is. So it's crazy. And this morning I had it was a quote-unquote team meeting with my Be Happy Stampers, and I thought it was at 10, and so I built my day around it being at 10 o'clock, and when I looked at Facebook, it was scheduled for 11 o'clock, and I had something at 11:30, so I had something else, and so that's how it goes, right? It's just one thing after another. Hi, Julie Damaris. The great thing about that is that it was recorded, and maybe it was good that there wasn't anybody really on there except for Luann Trumpauer, and she was really quiet, didn't ask many questions. She had a couple comments, but it allowed me just to say everything, and it probably went a little bit faster, maybe, to get everything all out. So hi, Feline, and yeah, don't forget to like and share. I appreciate that. Yes, don't forget the liking and the sharing. So we have a gift card lifter that we're going to be doing. I really wish I had been here. Oh no! So messages pop up on Facebook. They'll pop up while I'm live here. My last day is Friday. I'm going to work at the International somebody at Stampin' Up that I've known since 2014 is going to be leaving Stamping Up, and I just saw it. So, oh man, well, I always wish everybody the best of luck when they have new adventures. So I'll have to reach out to him later on tonight. So we have share a recipe, create a card, inspire others. I always, for the last, 8 months, have been using the product of the month. And the product of the month is really, really pretty this month. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you better get your hands on it because I think you won't be disappointed. It's this really, really, really pretty paper, and it's a little thicker. It's not as thick as that Easter paper that we had earlier in spring, but it's thicker than normal designer paper, and it's single-sided, so it is white on the back, but it's pearlized. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see that in the camera. You get 2 sheets of each color. And normally, hi Mary Novak, normally specialized paper is $17, but with this being the product of the month, you get a pack for $5 after you have $75 in your cart. So just know too, with $75 in your cart, that also earns you a free class with me as your demonstrator if you pick me. And then there's one here with leaves. And for classes, you can pick something. If you place an order today, you can pick a class next month, this month, or any previous month that we have availability of past classes. And then here's this one. So I think they're all so gorgeous. And it's really cool because in the back here, everything's got this glow and not iridescent, but a pearlized glow. So very pearly. All right, so if you had to ask me what my favorite sheet is, hi, Judy Sharp. Oh no, you saw next month's product of the fan and you're not a fan. Oh man, that makes me curious. How do we see I don't even know. I'm always late to that game. So, hi Kari Dwyer, I have to go look up to see what next month's is. You can tell us what it is. Oh no, Nancy Mole said she's not either. I'm curious now if I can see what it is. I think that while I pick my favorite pattern, if you guys, I'm guessing you might guess, my favorite pattern is this one. I love it. I love that it has the bit of yellow in here. It's got a little bit of the Cajun, little crumb cake, little espresso going on. And I think that's the pattern I want to use. I'm trying to multitask because you guys, now I got to see what this product of the month is. Where did you see it, Julie? Was it in the know? Product of the month. Do we get to see it ahead of time? Oh, here it is. Oh, why don't you like that? Oh man, it's pretty. It's designer series paper. It's called, okay, you guys are having a hard time seeing it with a glare. This is next month, so September. It's specialty paper. It's called Luxe Foliage. So there's one with pine, one with navy, it looks like, and one with pecan with gold foil. Oh man, I was expecting it to be horrible, but I love paper, so I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, I don't dislike it. So I like that. I can work with that. That's easy to work with. So yes, or succeed email. Okay. So we got it figured out. So, but that just goes to show you, just because one person likes it doesn't mean the other person is going to like it. And they'll never be able to appeal to everybody all of the time. I don't think that's ever possible. I can't even do that myself. Nobody can do that. But I'm always happy with paper. I don't know. I think I like paper more than stamps, you guys. I don't know. It's like the touch, the feel of paper, the fabric of our lives. Okay, so yes, that's me trying to do a jingle for you. I want to do this one. And let's think here. So this is the recipe card, and no, I have not taken a picture of it yet. I need to do that. I just found it. I know I had it in the mail last week, and then I put it on a pile with some other things, and I came across it about 2 hours ago, and it's been a little blurry today, and so I will be photographing this front and back, and then I will share it with everybody in the email that I send, and also in the Facebook event, and I'll send it. I'll put it in the event as well. Yes, or so. Okay, perfect. So we need a card base, and then it sounds like we need an embossed mat. So we have a card base, an embossed color for cardstock. We need the pattern paper, which this is, and then we need white. So it seems like for the base of the card or the core of the card that we need 4 pieces, and then we need scraps to decorate the front. So with me knowing that this is gonna be my pattern paper and it needs to get matted onto something, I pulled out some different colors that I thought coordinated with it. One of them being crumb cake. It looks good, gets washed out. And then I also pulled curry because I knew there was some yellow in there. It's good, but I think I like crumb cake maybe better. I don't know, they're a horse apiece. But then I thought, oh man, that's the color I thought was gonna look the best because it has the Cajun flowers that'll make it pop. It wasn't memorable, but it'll do. Exactly, Debbie. It wasn't memorable, but it'll do. Like this to me is memorable. The other is, it'll do. So I almost feel like I want 2 mats though, and this is where I get myself in trouble because I love double matting things. So now part of me says, well, how could I make this work by double matting and putting something like that, because then I get the yellow and I get the Cajun. And so part of me says, you know, that thinking, can I adjust slightly by making the pattern paper and the embossed a little bit different? So we're gonna see about that. So it seems like we have a card that's a gatefold. The top half folds down and the bottom half folds up, and the designer paper or pattern paper is at the top. There's also a little guide here that I forgot to show you guys. So there's a guide here. So we're making a card lifter. So this piece is going to go on the inside of the card, and as you open the card, it lifts up and reveals, like you can put a gift card in there or check or cash. So I do know that if I do my thing and I try cherry, okay, I'll try cherry. If I do my thing and add a mat, I've got to adjust the numbers slightly. So hang tight. I'm going to grab a cherry cobbler from my drawer over here. So what cherry cobbler looks like. To me, though, the flowers are orangey. And it's going to be really hard to see this in the camera, and you're going to say it looks probably a horse apiece, but the flowers have a little bit more orange in them versus red. So I think that they pick up the Cajun a little bit more. And I want to go for more of a fall card, I think, versus a summery spring card. So I think, and if I go this way, I think the yellow makes it washed out. So yes, either the Cajun or the cherry cobbler both make the paper pop versus having the crumb cake there. If you really wanted to even add more layers to this, I think having the crumb cake way at the back end wouldn't be the worst idea either. But again, we don't need more layers. So let's go ahead and we'll finagle this a little bit. I did pull in a stamp set called Elegant Leaves, which is going to be releasing to customers on September 1st. It's open to demonstrators now if you want to buy this as a demonstrator. I brought in some new gems here that I thought would look nice, and there's an embossing folder that's available. That it comes in a 3-pack with candy canes and leaves and one other thing that I think is Halloween related. It is bats and ghosts. So, nope, they're all bats. All right. So this is a new item that you can get. It was part of the online exclusives that launched in July. And it's a pack of, here, I'll show you off of the paper here. So there's one with, there's leaves. And then there's one with the bats and the ghosts. No, bats, just bats. And then there's one with candy canes. So the gems that came out are bats and goats. Ghosts. That is what I have in my head, bats and ghosts for. Okay, so I think we're going to pull in that. I didn't pull a ribbon. I don't know quite what ribbon that I'm going to shoot for. It was, I brought in some of these. Even this golden glow one is kind of pretty. But that one I thought might be a pretty accent. Even though it's Calypso Coral, it kind of ties in nicely because the edging is a little darker, like the Cajun. Okay, so let's start by cutting paper and see what we can get into first. So it says our card base is 5.5 by 8.5. So that's not so crazy. Let's do that. So with your paper on the 11-inch side, you can go ahead and cut your paper at 5.5, like that. And then we also need to cut the, let's do the white next. So it says it's 6 by 4 3/8. So let's do the white piece. So 6 by 4 3/8. It doesn't matter which side we cut. So we'll do the 6-inch on that side and then 4 3/8. All right, so these are to the scrapyard. You guys, Annette was here and she took my little white. This is full of scraps. It was to the top, overfloweth. She organized all my scraps by the size. Look at that. Like, it's amazing. So I'm so lucky. Oh, so now I've got a nice little scrap yard of white and vanilla. All right, so that's for our inside. So let's just look at the diagram because we have to do something to that piece of paper. So, and I believe that I went off of her number here, which was 4 3/8. So 4 3/8 is that, and 6 inches. But there are 2 scores here. So as long as I have this paper here, I want to just see what it says to score at. And place the white cardstock called the lifter at the tear and side tape up. Oh, here. Flip the card base to the value foot and the 2 1/4 panel at the top. Lay the white so that the half, okay, so it's a 1/2 inch. So it says here, so that the 1/2 inch panel with tear and tape as at the top. Okay, so this right here, I deciphered, is a 1/2 inch for the 1 score line. And then remove the tape covering and close the 2 1/4 panel to adhere. So I'm thinking that this panel is 2 1/4, and I'm going to go with that because that's, nope, I don't think so. I saw this and I see 2 1/4 as that panel, but I do know that that's a 1/2 inch, and then there's got to be an amount here. So right here it is. Score, okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. You guys probably are like, what is she doing? Score, I should have just kept reading down. I'm hesitating on cutting my mats because I know I want to do mats, so we'll come back to that. So score down the long side of the card base at 2 1/4 and 6 1/2. So let's grab that and do that. So 2 1/4 and 6 1/2. So we'll do 2 1/4. Make sure you're scoring. Hi, Susan Wormley. Hi, Joy Moody. So 2 1/4 and 6 1/2. So for the 6 1/2, we need to pull this guy out and go here. So 6 1/2, again, scoring, not cutting. So that's our card base. I'm up here and I'm live. Attach the embossed cardstock. Okay, so let's put this away and fold this for the moment. These should meet right in the middle. Hi, what's up?
I'll give you these.
Okay.
If you want to replace these 3, and then you're missing 1.
So we need 4? Oh, if I, okay.
Take a look at them. This one definitely,
Okay.
the one is, okay, and then I'm going to go.
Okay, and that is still down there?
Yes.
I could give her this. Tell her I would replace 2 of them. So then we need 2 more.
2 of these.
Yep, you got it. All right, thanks, Gloria.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got here what we call as a gatefold, right? So this is going like this. All right, so we'll keep reading then. So score, we did the score down the long side of the, oh, here it is. Ha, it's the next line. I'm so excited. Okay, so score down the long side of the white cardstock at a 1/2 inch and 4 3/16. Okay, so that was the number I was looking for. Okay, so 4 3/16, and of course it was right there. Can you tell I didn't read everything properly and then I flipped right over to the back side? Okay, so scoring at a 1/2 inch. So we're gonna do this guy at a 1/2 inch right there. Score. Okay, and then 4 3/16. So it's 4 plus 3 tick marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4 3/16. All right. So now this piece right here, it says, the next step, it says attach the embossed cardstock, DSP, and tear and tape according to the attached diagram. Okay, so we'll do that. I'm going to try to follow the recipe in the order that it is, you guys. This is really hard for me. I keep wanting to like bop around. So I had said that I wanted to mat some stuff. So my mats are going to be the size of the embossed and pattern paper. So it's saying the embossed is going to be 5 1/2 by 1 3/4. But let's look at that. Here it is. So Kelly was making this be the entire bottom, right? So 5 1/2 is the width of the card, and then 1 3/4 is a mat here. And then she has this one being 5 1/4 by 2, which is 5 1/4, which has a mat, and then 2 is the traditional mat. So I think what I'm going to do, just to keep it even, I'm going to do 5 1/4 for both mats. 5 1/4 by 2, and 5 1/4 by 2. Hi. So that's our mat. Oh, I get why she did it that way. So it should be 1 3/4. You guys, it seems like this is my first time ever making cards. Does it feel like that for you? So this is, I did them both at 5 1/4, and then the gatefold is not in the middle. I thought it was in the middle, so that's what I missed. So what I did is this one is at 2 as it says, and this is at 1 3/4 as it says. Now though, my pattern paper You guys know I love my 16ths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a section here that I like that has lots of good color. I was looking for yellowy flowers. So I'm going to do, if this is 2, I'm going to do 1 13/16, which is 2 less 3 tick marks. And then I'm going to do 5 1/16. So I write that on here. I did 5 1/16 times 1 13/16. Okay, and then that gives me this, which I'm going to put on the top like that. Okay. All right, so far so good. I think we're good. So we got to use some of the new pretty paper, and we're going to emboss this bottom one. And I will make a note here that like what I did for me here is I did 5 1/4 instead. I will make this so you guys can read it. All right. So this bottom one I want to emboss. So that was her next instruction, was to glue that. So let's look at here. I think it would be really pretty embossed with these leaves because they kind of match. They got the fall theme going on. So I'm going to stick my piece of paper in here. I'm going to just run back. I'm not running. I'm going to just walk back to the machine here and run this through. Okay, so with this, when you emboss it, if you've watched me a time or two, you know I love to add detail, like highlighting to it. And we could do 2 things. We could go darker and put some Cajun over. I mean, we could do multiple things, but in my head, I have 2 options for me. I would go darker with Cajun, or I could go lighter and add a little white. And it's not going to look white. It would actually look, it'll actually look like illuminated, and it might tie in nicely with that pearl paper. So I'm going to grab a sponge dauber. And the trick with the daubering, though, is you don't want it to look like you're bruising it. Hi, Kathy Booker. So you don't want it to look like that. That's what we call bruising. And so you're going to kind of get some of the ink out until you've got it to the right point. And I'm just going to illuminate right over the tops of some of these leaves. What's going to happen is the ink's going to leave your sponge dauber, and you're going to have to get more, but then you have to kind of make sure you don't get more bruising. And you don't want a heavy hand. You're really looking for the raised image just to get a little highlighted. It'll make those leaves stand out really good. And that's the route I went. I could have gone with Cajun Craze ink, but it would have made them look darker. I think I was trying to go for a lightening up look. Okay, oh, that's the little guy right in the corner. Okay, so now when we put this on here, I think that the leaves show off. Let's go right about there. Show off a little bit better. I'm trying to get the lighting. There we go. Okay, so there. That's that. Let's read what it says now. It says, attach the embossed cardstock, designer paper, and tear and tape according to the diagram. So what happens is when you have this diagram, if we open up the card like this, that means that this is the top, this is the bottom. So top of the DSP, bottom of the DSP. And then I normally wouldn't have this mat, it would just be DSP, but I'm gonna put this, goes on here like that. And then this one is the embossed. So this is the top of the emboss here and the bottom there. And so when we close this, it's just as easy to go like this. When you have the card closed, you wanna make sure your patterns are going right. So in this case, you could flip it this way and see. If I go like that, then that seems like it's upside down. So I think I would go like this, and I think that has no matter, doesn't matter. So we're gonna flip all of these. and we'll work on gluing them, because I think we're at that point. So a little glue for the embossed mat. Like that, and then this one is the little bit bigger one is for the top. And now with specialty paper that's like this, I don't generally use glue. I would use tear and tape. I have found that when I do use glue, sometimes it seeps up and you see a glue line. And I don't like to see the glue line. So in that case, I'll put the tear and tape all the way around the edges so that I don't get that glue line. Okay. All right, so be careful though, because if you use tear and tape, you don't get a lot of forgiveness. Once it goes down, it's pretty much going down. All right, so we've scored our 2 pieces, and then I have our embossed piece. They're all attached. It says flip the card base to the VF side and the 2 1/4 panel at the top. Okay. So lay the white cardstock so that the 1/2 inch panel with tear and tape. So she's got here a diagram, and she's saying there's a 1/2 inch panel here, which we've got here. And it's saying that there should be tear and tape on here. So we're going to prep it so it's got the tear and tape like it says. And it's saying that this is a mountain fold. So mountain fold here and a valley fold here. So then let's go ahead and make our valley fold. So we've got this going on. So it says let's reverse. It says flip the card base to the VF side and the 2 1/4 panel at the top. Lay the white cardstock so that the 1/2 inch panel with tear and tape is at the top. Okay, so it's here at the top. And then place the white cardstock here in called the lifter. Tear and tape side up at the 2 1/4 score line of the card base. Centered left to right. Remove the tape covering and close the panel to adhere. So this is a really easy step. So what she's saying is centered left to right. You butt this up into the score line of the 2 1/4 inch panel, and then with that, you close it. Fold the bottom panel of the lifter up, which it's up. Add tear and tape to the left and right outside edges of the bottom card base panel. With the lifter folded closed, fold the bottom panel, and then this adhesive will seal, okay, as we go up. All right, so let's do our tear and tape up the sides. So this tear and tape seems like it's right. It's a 1/4 inch tear and tape. If you had 1/8 inch, it would work as well. Hello, Marlene Goodman. First time catching me live. Yay. Well, welcome, welcome. And Debbie Gast is my welcoming committee too. Isn't she amazing? So I hope you enjoy the live. We're just doing a card based off of a recipe that one of my customers gave me. And so we're kind of in the dark on what we're making. Not so much though, because I've got clues and I've got some diagrams. So what we just said is that this gets folded up. We added the tear tape, picked it off, and now this just gets shut. And so that tear and tape will stick on the sides. And then what we have here, if you want to add a secret sentiment to the lifter, which will pop up and be seen only when the card opens, stamp that now. Well, maybe I should have stamped that before. I didn't read that till now, but we can always add it. Make sure the sentiment can be seen when the card is open. Add your gift card to the inside of the lifter. Decorate the card front. So we basically, based off of these instructions, have gotten the front of the card done. What we're not done with the card though, because now we gotta zhuzh it up. Okay, so what's happening here is we have a card that when you open this, it pops up. So we could have, what she's saying is stamp a sentiment right here. So we can still pull this out and we can still go through the process of stamping something. And then what we could do is just tuck this right back in here. So it's not the end of the world that we didn't stamp that right off the bat. But what I'm trying to do is figure out, well, what could I put on the front here to make this pretty? And so Anna had helped me. She's one of my helpers, and she helps with die cutting. She helped me cut some of these leaves that were from the August monthly class. Nope, September monthly class. But she meant to cut them on, so this is two-tone cardstock. They're two different colors. So she meant I wanted it on the light side, but she got 4 of them on the dark. So I thought, oh, why don't we try to use them on here as one of the elements on the front instead of them just sitting here forever doing nothing and collecting dust. So I thought that would be great. And I think what we'll do is we're going to grab a two-tone piece and we'll cut the two-tone to be the solid bottom image. I was thinking of doing a yellow mat in the front here. It would attach, I don't want to cover up a lot of this because it is really pretty. So I'm trying to think of something to do where there's not a big, huge thing going on. And maybe it's vellum. Maybe it could be a piece of vellum. Let me see, I got some vellum here. I got a piece of vellum here. I wonder if it's even something as simple as adding a piece of vellum right here. This is just a scrap sitting there. Adding this piece of vellum and then having the leaf here and then having a sentiment, some ribbon, some thread. I think that might even be pretty, but I'm going to go see. I think I have some two-tone cardstock in the Cajun. I do. Here's some sheets of it. Okay. And so these elegant leaves dies are really pretty. There are 4 different leaves. So there's 3 for stamping, but when it comes to the dies, there's actually 4. So there's the big set, this set, that set, and then that set. And so in here, thank goodness, I have this guy. And what I could, so this is you can see the light in the dark there now, right? So it's so funny when I'm with Diane and we're designing, we're kind of like stuck, and she always says, well, what about two-tone cardstock? And it's like, oh yeah, we have two-tone cardstock. As crafters, not having two-tone cardstock in the past, however many years, it's kind of hard to remember about two-tone cardstock. But we've been using it quite a bit here lately. So then there's another one here. I think if we do that guy like that, I wonder about this one here. He's going to be too big, but maybe this one would look really cute next to it. And I have some crushed curry here. You would be covering up your yellow flowers. Exactly, but if I have vellum, you can still see the yellow flower right there, and I'm only going to put the leaves on the left side. So I think I'll be okay. So let's see where my two-tone yellow is. Right here. And, ooh, that's Darling Duckling. It'll be close enough though. I think it'll be fine. So I think this actually is Darling Duckling, but it's close. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a couple of these guys. You see, it's my first time cutting paper. Okay, get out of there. So we got that. It's okay, guys, it's just paper. All right, so we've got that. So I'm gonna turn around every now and then. You get a little bit lonely, whatever the song is, but I'm gonna turn around and go to the machine, and I'm gonna cut these out. And I'm thinking of doing the dark there, and maybe the light for that. No, let's do it the other way. That with the light. Okay, so we'll keep it consistent. So one moment, please. I'll be right back. Just over here doing some die cutting. So one moment. And I've got it. Grabbing some linen thread. Okay. So this little guy will go on here, and then this one can go on there. And let's see what else. Okay, so we're going to Stella this, right? Because it's always good to add some Stella to the front of your card. So there's that. There's that. Then we'll take and do the Rose Coleman trick. And we're going to add a little bit of glue in some strategic spots on here. Let that air dry for a moment. And then it gets tacky. And then you can add it to the other image without worrying so much. Okay, so that's for that. Let's go see what our words are. There's a long skinny word in here that says sending carrying thoughts. It's perfect. Now we are using white, so we're going to go to the scrap yard. And because we're so lucky, Annette has this organized for us. That one's too short. Let's find one a little bit longer. Here we go. And we're going to grab out the little cutter. I believe that we need to cut that at 5/8 inch for that sending carrying thoughts. Now, I will say, a sending carrying thoughts is not typically a card that you enclose a gift card, but maybe. What else is in here? Grateful for you. How about grateful for you? Because then you could give them a gift card or some money for them mowing the lawn or raking your leaves or making you something good to eat or whatever it might be. So we're going to do Cajun Craze for the pink color. I think that will pop very nicely. I'm still giving that a moment to keep marinating. I think 5/8 inch is still a good measurement. It is. All right, that worked out good. And then there's a thank you. All right, love it. I love it. Okay, so then can you tell the little things get us excited? So now we have the grateful for you, and then when this pops up, it's going to say thank you right there. Okay, this is ready to go. So this became a little tacky. So that will fit right on that little guy. I have a hair, not mine, right in the middle. So I feel like a surgeon right now. I got it. I feel like I just played the game Surgery or whatever it was when we were young kids. The Operation. Scalpel. All right, so then this one's going to go on here. It fits perfectly, and it doesn't get glue all over the place. So these can be saved for something else later in life, but now we've got that. And then for this, what you're going to want to do is pull this out of here. Okay, let's eyeball this. All right, when we pull this out like that, so we're going to stamp it near the top, but not too close of that border. That ridge right there. Ruffles have ridges, so right there. Okay. So even though we had it all glued and assembled, we could pull that out. And now what we're going to do is just going to tuck that back in here. And now what do I mean by a gift card fitting in here? So just to show you what the size of a gift card generally is this, right? So that gift card could go in there like that. It pops up and you've got thank you. You could have also stamped something there. And I bet any money if you go like that, it also fits in there like that. A check would fit in there. Some De Niro would fit in there. All right. So we've got our sentiments locked and loaded. And now we've got that piece of vellum floating right here. So vellum is tricky because you see the adhesive through it. Unless you take a sponge dauber and add glue and spread it all around really thin. But so what I'm going to do is eyeball where stuff is going to go. I think that my leaf can go about there. And this, I do want that bannered on this end. I like to do that. And I sometimes like to keep things flush and straight on the other end. So we'll just see what it looks like. So we'll have that like that. And I want it a little shorter, more like that. Okay. And then this little guy can tuck in right there. And then our ribbon. I brought some linen thread, and I also have some of this new ribbon that's launching on September 1st. Grateful is much better. Ha! It sure is. Right? Sending caring thoughts. Here's some money. Go buy something to make yourself feel better. Right? That's what that kind of said. All right. But grateful is like somebody did a good job. All right. I'm thinking in my head how I want to do a loop and a tail, but I'd love to get some linen thread on here. So I'm thinking I'm pulling in some thoughts of both linen thread and this ribbon, taking this and we're take, I don't know about that much. We're gonna wrap that around here twice, maybe even 3 times. And this is where if you have a buddy at home, they could hold the ribbon for you, but tweezers works good too. I want to see what this looks like. So we're going to bunch this together like that. And if I would have made a little bit longer of tails, I could potentially make bunny ears, but let's see. Let's see if I can do that. I don't know if I can. Let's try. We'll do one here. Okay, if you would have given yourself a little bit more, you'd have a little easier time, but oh man, there it is. Okay. Why do we do that to ourselves? We give ourselves the smallest amount of things that we could work with. And then we challenge ourselves. Challenge. A little guy right there. Okay. Got a cute little bow on the ribbon now. Make sure your bunny ears are nice and tight. Okay. I'll trim that guy so he's shorter. And then I was curious. That would look really cute right about there. All right. So the other thing that might look super cool, the vellum's a little bit like boring. We could potentially see what that looks like embossed. So I have that embossing folder right here. I just want to see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I can cut it in a piece. So just let me entertain myself for a moment. So what's really cool about embossing vellum is it gives it a really frosty white look. Right? So when you look at that, you can see the leaves really detailed. So, and Julie's going to say, well, now you really covered up your flowers. Well, I can still see them through there, but I think that that added another dynamic to it, right? I think that that's okay. It made it look busier, but I don't think it's too busy. And then we still have this one here. And then we'll still have that on the side. I think it looks good. Julie says, I think YouTube upped their commercials August 15th. They have gotten to be such a nuisance. I'm sorry to hear that. That is not good at all. It's funny that you say August 15th. I'm wondering what if there was something that might have happened on August 15th for that to happen. Maybe you heard something that they did that. Okay, so what's going to happen now? I am going to take some dimensionals and I'm going to pop up this leaf just at the top and this one at the top. Because I don't want to put adhesive yet behind the vellum, I'm just going to position this where I think it needs to go. And then, which is centered top to bottom, left to right. And then we're going to stick this leaf down here. And then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. That will work good. And now this can go across here. Like that. This one, I think what I'll do is put a glue dot part way down. So it's popped up at the top and flat at the bottom. And that will tuck in right there. Oh, maybe like that. And then this one is going to get glue dots. I'll take 2 of them. We're going to stick it right there. Okay. All right. So now that we got that situated, now I can flip this over and I'm going to put tear-in tape in the spots where the leaves are. Now you have to be careful because you only want it. I know you're gonna lift this up and you might, oh, you don't really, it's okay. So if you would have left this as regular vellum, you'd see through this a lot more, but because we frosted those leaves on there, it hides a lot of the imperfections on the back. But we have to be careful because we are only wanting to put tear-in tape on the top half of this. We don't really want it on the bottom half. So what I'll do is I'll put that like that. And can we see that through there? Not really. So that's good. What we're gonna do is put tear-in tape along this bottom edge right here. It should be disguised really nicely. That's gonna be centered top to bottom, left to right. Something like that. Right, so now when we lift that up, we don't have any glue on that vellum, right? We gotta trim the tails here, trim the tail on the donkey, pin the tail on the donkey. That guy goes like that. Lift that up. Such pretty ribbon, okay. Oh, they're the same length, so we can't have that. We're gonna make the top one a little shorter then. All right. If anything is loosey-goosey, now's your time to short up. So you could stand to put one more mini glue dot right back here. Come on, get off my finger. There it is. Fluff that little guy up. You can twist these so they're not right on top of each other. There it is. Okay. Then the last thing I would do is put some gemsies on. And the gems I pulled, there are these new radiant gems. They're part of the sunflower suite. And there are these goldish ones. Goldish. We use ish a lot around here. So we're going to grab this small one and tuck you there. And then a big one and a small one here. Now, and because it's a card that you can put lots of gems on, if you wanted, you could even find, we could put another one maybe right there, and then one more there. Okay. There's not any green on here, otherwise I thought about the green, but you could always mix and match too. I had pulled some gold ones, but I think that I'll leave it with the gold, these, whatever these color are. I don't know if it says on here. They look like Secret Sea, Golden Glow, and Old Olive or Granny Apple. But here's my trick. Now that we put those gems on top of the vellum where we did, that means we could, so this is not secure here, right? But now that we have those gems there, now what I can do is lightly pull this up and put a dot of glue behind each of those gems. And now that should put that corner so it's secure. And it's not going to want to flip back. Nancy Mole, I did not see your text. I have to admit the last 3 days have been non-stop, everything from one thing to the next, like 6 things in a day. I get done at the end of the night and then I get through some of them, but I don't get through all of them, unfortunately. So I'm working my way through stuff. So Nancy, I will take a look now that I know you said you texted me. I'll go look specifically for your text message and see if I can find it and make sure I can reply to it. So yeah, I'll tell you guys. I don't know, the week that I thought I would have a little breathing room here, this week I don't have breathing room. It doesn't happen that way. So I'll show you guys what we used again here. This Simply Leaves. That's a beautiful card. I may case that later tonight. Good, Julie, I hope you do. I hope you do. So this is it in a nutshell, you guys. Now, I'm looking at the camera and you might think that that ribbon might not match it, but I think it does. It does the trick, and I want it a little more angled like that. Okay, that's the other thing. Because it's starting to pop up a little bit, because we embossed those leaves, I can put a little glue dot right there, and I don't think you'll see that, and that will help keep that at an angle. I hope you case it. That's the whole trick, and not trick, but the whole concept of this class is that it's called Copy and Share Everything, casing cards and taking a recipe and sharing it, and share, create, inspire, right? So we shared a recipe, which you guys, I will finagle this, and instead of me crossing off this, I will leave my notes. So I'll leave it so this was from Kelly, put on here, this is from Kelly Sheridan. We appreciate her recipe card and her sharing a card with us. I'll leave what she has, and then you can see my notes in purple. So when I take a photograph of this, now this in black, that was her note here. So this was not me, this was her correcting this on her end. But I have here that my DSP, so this was actually, the embossed bottom was 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then this is DSP. And then this for that guy is going to be cardstock number 2. So remember, I have 2 cardstocks. This is the top, and then this is the bottom. So cardstock number 2 at the top was 5 1/4 by 2, and the one at the bottom I did 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then my pattern paper was 5 1/16 by 1 13/16. But otherwise, everything else is there. Now, I did add a piece of vellum, in case you guys are curious what the size of that vellum is. I think it's, what is this? 3 1/8 by 2 3/8. So 3 1/8 by 2 3/8. So, and then in case you're also curious, the white was 5/8 by about 3 inches, and then you can cut it to whatever you want it to be. So we did good. And then again, scraps of whatever you want to use for decorating the front, and you could decorate it. You could have put a circle on the front. But yeah, so now when you open this up, thank you. And you can have whatever you want in there, and you can see the back looks pretty, because of frosting that vellum, it looks pretty, like you can't see through it. So this card, card change to portrait to country. Yes, you could. You could definitely go like, well, if you change it to portrait, you'd want to score here, right? You'd have a hot dog style card, and you'd score it here, open up, and then your inside piece would be skinnier. So you could definitely change it. Absolutely, you guys, we can do whatever we want. We're card makers, right? Okay, so I'll take a picture of this that Carrie provided. I'll take a picture of this, and I will be posting that in the Facebook group. I'll also put a spot out there where you can share your creations to get in for the drawing, which will be next week. So yeah, I love it. Now let's see what Kelly made. Got my letter opener right here, and oh, let me make sure I do that so it doesn't catch. Sometimes when you open up cards, you catch cards. So I was like, oh man, and there's ribbon right there. Okay, so let's pull that out of here and see what she has. Okay, very cool. Okay, oh, I see how. Okay, so this is what she did. I catch now at the bottom here. She had it at 5 1/2 because she went the width of the card, which is perfectly fine too. It's whatever you want. She's got some pretty butterflies on here. This, you guys, if I am not mistaken, that is from the hot foil machine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Kelly, looks like she grabbed, oh, it is. Oh, yes. So this is, wow, hang on. This is the classic greetings, and it's got the happy birthday, and she did the hot foil with that. So that's this guy. And then it seems like she used the butterflies. So that butterfly and that butterfly must be those 2 butterflies. And these are from the set that's called Butterfly Flight hot foil dies. Yeah, so she used some of the new hot foil. Super cool. It looks like she has rainbow foil that she used, but that's what I guessed that would be. All right, and look at me. I have it right here in the drawer next to where I sit. Okay, so then it looks like the ribbon slides off. So she made it like a belly band with ribbon, which was neat. And then this, very older, but still cool. Very cool. So it says happy birthday. And then older, ... older, but ... still cool. So I didn't do that. I guess I could have thought, so you could, what I could do, grateful for you, I could find another message that is up here higher, and then I could have the thank you still come down below. So I could always add that later. So wonderful. Well, good job. I love it. So I'll have Kelly help me photograph both my card and Kelly's card so you guys can see them. And in the event that was created on Facebook, I will post both of these cards, and I'll also put the share graphic. So if anybody is encouraged to make a card, that you can share your card with us. All right. Do you know if the mystery card, so Debbie guessed, sorry. Debbie guessed, so let me read back here. Julie said, I don't have that ribbon, so may just use linen thread only. Absolutely. But, you know, you might have a different color. You might have crumb cake or curry, or a golden glow would be really pretty on here. You could use whatever color you want. And then do you know if the mystery card is portrait or landscape? Let me think about that really quick. Hang on. I think it's portrait. I can find that answer, though, momentarily. So I'm looking on my phone, though, to see the sample. One moment. I'm going to pull this up. One moment, please. The card is vertical. Okay, so it's like a card in a card in a card for Mystery Night. You guys, Mystery Night is on Monday night, the 27th. The 30th or the 31st. Whatever Monday night is Mystery Night. And it's a vertical card. So it's going to be like a card, and then a card, and then another card inside a card. So it's a fun full card. And this card you could change to portrait too, couldn't you? Yes, yep, you could. But not for a gift card. Yeah, you could. You could. It would be like your gatefold would be down here more, right? Down here. And then when you lift it up, you put the card in here vertical like that. You could. I think you could. And Julie said the butterflies are currently unavailable. Ha! And then she said foiling. Yes. Yeah, so I haven't been... Okay, so I was just thinking about that foiling stuff, you guys. There's a class that's in the works, and Kelly and I have half of it designed, and then we both got sidetracked, and she went down the route of working on Paper Pumpkin. Well, I went down a route of working on the Palooza and the Escape designing, and so we're going to circle back. So there are maybe a handful of people who got the hot foiling system through me, and I get to make and design a class for them with Kelly's help, and I'm going to offer it to my community, that anybody who either placed an order that is equivalent amount, so not necessarily the hot foil machine. So, there's going to be a class, right? Let's just say that. There's a class, and it'll be available probably, I would say it's going to be slated for October and not September, because we've got a lot going on in September. So, but yes, that is on the radar. It's on the back burner, but it's on like the second last burner right now. So, but I know that some of you are watching might have gotten the hot foil and you're wondering about it, but it will be coming. So, all right, we did good. We did good. Okay. So Kelly Sheridan, thank you for the MVP for today. Most valuable player, for helping me have a recipe card ready for class today. I'll have Connie Moore. She said she mailed it off to me sometime this week. So I'll have hers for next month, which is great. And if anybody else wants to help participate by giving me a recipe for a card, don't overthink it. And just because I write on the recipe card doesn't mean that it's bad, okay? There's no wrong things or wrong ways to do things with card making. It really isn't that hard. And it's not like, yeah. Don't overthink it is what I'm getting at. So I have directional paper and just got nervous after I cut it. So I'm wondering, Debbie, if we didn't have the tall and the wide on there. And I apologize. Normally we do have the, I'm just pulling up the event for, I'm just going to pull it up here really quick. Mystery card. Oh, I'm so sorry. You are so correct. Oh, it is. It's 5 1/4 tall by 4 inches wide, 5 1/4 tall by 1 7/8 wide, and then 4 tall by the wide, 4 tall by the wide, and tall by the wide. So we've got it on here. So just double check that. Check it. I mean, we've got the talls and the wides on here, so that should hopefully tell you that it's 5 1/4 tall by 4 wide. So that would mean it's going to be a vertical card. Don't be nervous. All right, you guys. Well, I'll be live with you tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central. We're going to do the showcase, and then Kelly's going to be live with you guys at 9 a.m. and she's going to do the paper pumpkin class for August. Yep. And what was I going to think about? So tonight, you guys, my goal for business work tonight is I'm going to be working on creating the product shares, which will be launched. I'll have that email and that'll be ready, probably be published tomorrow. It'll be included in the class registration. I know there are at least 24 people that always get product shares from me, so that's coming. And then I have the sweet shares that I'll be offering for this coming catalog and the online exclusives. I'm going to be working on those tonight. And I'm going to be preparing the September class registration, or the September registration form. And so those are the things that are on my highest level on my to-do list today, to get those done tonight so that everything's published and ready to go for the showcase tomorrow at 4. So very good. And Susan also answered the question too. It's portrait. Debbie said, yes, but with 3 card bases, I was nervous. Okay. Yep. So I'm glad you're hopefully not nervous anymore. Hello, Sherry Ott. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. Lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs to you. Don't forget to make your card and then watch for the Facebook post for sharing it. When I do send out the email thanking everybody for doing or watching this class with me, there'll be a link in there too also for you guys to click on to go into Facebook to share your cards with people. So I will be working. Those are on my to-do list tonight too. So, all right, lots of work to do. But I had fun taking a break and designing. Well, I didn't design it. I had fun taking a break and making a card with you with the help of Kelly Sheridan. I hope you got some inspiration from it and that you get the drive to be creative. And I can't wait to see your card, Julie Damaris, and how close or different it looks to what I created. But yeah, so, and it was a lot of fun using the product of the month paper. If you do order the product of the month as me or through me as your demonstrator, and you are also potentially, if you're on the team and you place a $75 order through yourself through the month of August, you'll get the tutorial that we have. There's about 10 total of us that go together, and this will be in the tutorial. So the card I make for Share, Create, Inspire, I always put that one in the tutorial because it's great, because it helps me to get you guys the measurements and have the pictures and include that in the tutorial. And so if you buy the product of the month through me, you'll get that tutorial sometime next month. So we're already working on it. A lot of people have submitted their cards already, and by the first of the month we usually strive to have it ready, but sometimes it takes us a little bit longer. And just know that if you do get the product of the month through me as your demonstrator, or any of my colleagues that are part of the project, then you'll get that tutorial as well. So, or if you're on my team, the Be Happy Stampers, and you do $75, you'll get it as well. Especially with pretty paper I hate to waste. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. All right. So I'll see you guys later or tomorrow. Okay, bye.